welcome to Retro Warriors episode 477.
Woo!
Oh my gosh. As not always, I'm joined by non-viable human Andrew Derry.
Yay!
Yay! Andrew, you're here. It's just you.
Yep.
It's just, you're all I got tonight.
That's all right. Calling in the Z Squad.
As far as housekeeping, Saturn is sick. He came down with something called COVID-19.
And a touch of the consumption.
Yeah, I didn't know he had the previous 18 COVIDs, so I guess he's on,
Right.
19 now, and so that's unfortunate. So we have postponed the episodes that he and I had prepared for last night, and you and I have prepared some makeup episodes in the meantime.
That's right.
So we're gonna do these to you
prepared
instead.
Is a strong word. I feel like, scrambled.
I feel like I prepared a lot. Okay. Did you not prepare anything?
I mean, I've been inadvertently preparing for this episode.
This all sounds very non-committal.
For the past 2 months.
I've been preparing for this my entire life.
Yep.
So yeah, Saturn is out. We wish him well. Maybe you do or don't. I don't know. But he's in the Discord, so you can tell him what you think about him.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So hopefully he gets
you would
well
love
soon.
that. As long as it's nice. If it's not nice, then
yeah,
yeah.
Then maybe keep it inside. Also, we're doing the after party at the end of this episode. Guy's here. He's waiting in the wings so that he could come and be on the after party.
Is it the after party or is it the guy zone?
The guy zone. Welcome to the guy zone.
The guys only and everyone else.
No, it's just specifically guy.
Oh, right.
It's not
guy only. No. So we're going to mute our mics and then
listen to him talk for 10 minutes. So please stay tuned after the ending theme for that. We will be doing the after party, as it were. My week. I have been playing the Fantasy Zone. Which you might have heard of. It's a video game.
I may have heard of it, yeah.
And you play a little tiny ship with wings and feet named Opa Opa. And sometimes you get to play as Opa Opa's sibling, Oopa Oopa.
Oh, inventive.
And it's... Yeah, I mean, Sega. What do we call the fox with two tails? Tails? Is that good? Okay. What about the guy that's got like big, like spiky knuckles? Knuckles. Okay, that's good.
It's easy.
What about this blue hedgehog? Sonic.
Oh, that's why wouldn't we call him like Blue?
Yeah, we just call him Blue
Spiky-haired man hedgehog.
What the fuck are we talking about? Fantasy Zone. I've been playing Fantasy Zone. I've been playing the Sega Ages version on Switch, which is very good. It's still not as good as the 3DS Sega 3D Classics version of the game.
Which is weird because this version came out later than that one.
It did. I'm very disappointed also that Fantasy Zone 2W still has not released anywhere outside of 3DS. If you want to play it, you still have to play on 3DS. And it doesn't emulate well, so you kind of have to have it on original hardware because it is a far superior game. As much as I love Fantasy Zone, it's a far superior
What does
game.
the W stand for?
Winner.
Oh, okay. You're a winner.
I have no idea what the W stands for, but you get to turn in a little evil Opa Opa, and go to little evil zones, and it's fun.
Nice. It's
a fun time. So that's been my waiting to pick my kid up from school game. I sit there and play Fantasy Zone and try to get a good high score until it's time to pick her up in the line.
Yeah.
Also, I tried. I have never played Star Wars Dark Forces.
Oh.
Until this week.
It's a little bit.
I don't know.
A little bit late.
I know. I don't know what I thought it was. But I saw someone talking about Doom clones, and they're like, Dark Forces was kind of, is very much in the same vein as Doom, but, kind of evolved it a little bit. And I was like, I thought Dark Forces was like, I don't know what I fucking thought it was.
No, it was a Doom clone.
I didn't know that it was just a Doom, was just first-person shooter, and so I had been playing around with that. I wasn't playing the remaster. I want to say it was Night Dive, but it could have been someone else's. But Night Dive does like every other PC remaster, so good chance it was them.
Yeah.
I was playing the source port using the original game files, and it's pretty fun. It's a pretty fun game.
Yeah, I remember
It's
liking
Star
it a
Wars and Doom smooshed together into a palatable paste.
Doom Wars.
and I enjoyed it. Although, man, the some of the levels are just so long. I mean, I guess Doom has the same problem, very labyrinthian.
Yeah.
Level design and shit like that. But it was, it was a good time. I don't know that I'm gonna sit down and finish it, but I'd never played it and knew nothing about it. I think I was mixing it up with, God, what was the N64 game?
Shadow. No.
Shadows of the
Is
Empire.
that it?
Yes, for some reason, I thought Shadows of the Empire and Dark Forces were the same game. I don't know why I thought that. I have no idea.
Weren't there
but
two
I did.
N64 games?
Well, there's Shadows of the Empire and there's Pod Racer.
Right, and then there's X-Wing and
Boba Fett's Boogie Town.
Boogie Adventure.
Boogie Adventure was the next one, where he dances his way out of a Sarlacc pit.
Right.
For
It's the only
70
way
hours.
out.
What have you been playing, Andrew?
I've just been playing Stardew Valley still
Yes,
a lot. What else? What else have I been doing, Justin?
I don't know. This is why I write mine down.
I started watching. I mean, this is not video game related. I started watching the MacGruber TV show.
Why are you telling me about that? I'd never seen. Was MacGruber was an SNL skit, right?
Yeah,
Is that what it
MacGruber was an SNL
Okay.
sketch.
I'd never seen it.
Where it was like Will Forte doing MacGyver things, but it always explodes at the end. Like you never
Okay,
succeed.
so it's like MacGyver, but he's an idiot.
Right.
Okay, like so many good spoofs. It's like Normal Thing, but he's an idiot now.
And then they had a MacGruber movie that came out, and that was pretty good.
I do remember the movie. I didn't see it, but I remember it coming out.
And then, like within the last 3 to 4 years, I don't remember when exactly it came out. They came out with a season of a MacGruber TV show that was on Peacock.
So this is new. I just assumed the show predated the movie.
Nope. There's like a big, the first part of, like in the first episode, it's Maya Rudolph singing a song about what's happened previously in the movie. Like basically like just breaking down the plot of the movie so that way you don't have to watch it if you don't want to.
All right.
And it's really like, it might be the dumbest show I've ever watched in my life, but it is like still like if you like Will Forte and you liked the MacGruber humor,
yeah,
like
it's like that but cranked up to 11.
Yeah, it's very much there. There's a lot of him running around like at least in the first couple episodes like naked, and you just see his ass a bunch.
All right.
And then it's just, other than that, it's just him like yelling and swearing at everyone and saying really dumb, stupid things that you wouldn't think a human would come up with. And it's just him acting like an idiot the entire episod.
You think he's just like ad-libbing all of it?
Possibly. I don't know. I really liked Will Forte, and apparently like Lorne Michaels was not a huge fan of him.
Yeah.
And so that's why you don't really see a lot of his sketches on SNL's like TikTok or YouTube or anything like that.
Yeah. I watched that Blackberry movie.
Yeah.
With Glenn Howerton.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it only because I like Glenn Howerton.
Yeah.
And if you like Glenn Howerton and you like him being Dennis Reynolds and screaming at people, the movie's like 30% just that. Just Glenn Howerton being a complete dick to people. And there was a line in that I'm trying to figure out if he ad-libbed it or not, or if there's something I don't know.
Yeah.
And he was shouting at these people, and he shouted, I'm not going to shout it because, I'll peek the microphone out, but
right.
He shouted, it was paraphrasing, but it was like, I'm from Waterloo, motherfuckers, where the vampires hang out. And then he made a weird noise and ran out of the room.
I've been meaning to see that movie. I just keep not for some reason.
It's on Hulu. It's good. Like if you like Glenn Howerton, or you just like the character of Dennis Reynolds.
Well, I like I didn't realize he was in it until you mentioned it. Because I like the other guy that's in it too.
Yeah, what's his face? Other man.
Manny
Manny Manerton.
Yeah.
No, I watched it just for Glenn Howard. It's a pretty good movie. I was engaged the whole way through. It was interesting enough. But now we're talking about movies. So let's talk about news. You ready for the news, Andrew?
Yes.
Animal Crossing Mobile is shutting down in November and being transferred to a new app. Monthly subscriptions and microtransactions will no longer be purchasable. It's currently kind of unclear as to which also people were paying monthly subscriptions to the Animal Crossing Pocket Camp app. Like what?
I believe it.
The fuck is happening?
I'll believe anything if you say it, Justin.
It's just another reminder that, hey, these live service games that I know a lot of people are pumping actual money into are just that. They're live services. They're temporary. They will eventually one day either get shut down or in this case transferred to some kind of new experience that we don't know the details of. Like I just feel like I don't know how I would feel if I had spent like $200 or $300 on Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, and they're like, "Yeah, we're shutting that shit down, and we're just going to kind of sunset it into this other program, but we're not going to tell you about what it is." Like that sucks.
Right? It's $3,000 a day.
Okay. And what do I get for the money?
You get to access your already purchased content, and you get to look at it. You can't control it in any way.
What a treat.
But you get to look at it.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Do you work for EA? It sounds like...
Don't take any screenshots either. We'll know.
We'll know. The Suffering and The Suffering, The Ties That Bind are being delisted from GOG at the publisher's request. The games have also never been on Steam. And I think they're being delisted on September 1st. So I would say go buy them if you're interested in the Suffering games. But they're already gone by the time you listen to this, so I'm sorry that you missed them if that is a thing that upsets you.
What is The Suffering, Justin? Is that a game you like?
Oh, it's a game. It's No, it is not. They are they're horror games. They were I feel like they're the kind of games that like if you saw the cover, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, I remember that on PS2."
Okay.
Like the first one, the cover is like a guy in an electric chair getting electrocuted.
Oh,
yeah. Like if you saw the cover, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, I remember seeing that shit on shelves for the PS2." I absolutely remember that
the game you like is called The Stuffering. It's about Thanksgiving stuffing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the third game, The Stuffering. Came out on Thanksgiving. Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era, announced by Ubisoft, seems to be a return to form for the Heroes of Might and Magic franchise. I was like, first of all, cool. It's cool that they're doing this. People love Heroes of Might and Magic. If you're gonna do another one of those. Heroes of Might and Magic 3 is still. I would say, without looking up any data, I would guess that Heroes of Might and Magic 3 is the most popular thing that the Might and Magic franchise ever produced to this day. But it looks like more Heroes of Might and Magic 3, which is cool. I do feel like the name is so fucking like they got a focus group and was like, hey, we really want, it's like a really nostalgic, what should we call it? Someone was like, the olden days, olden games, olden era. And they're like, that's it. Put all our money into that name. Olden Era.
They didn't get Pierce Hawthorne to be like, why don't we call it like blonde in a tennis outfit?
Yeah, it was just the dumbest. It's the dumbest name, but it looks cool. I mean, it looks like Might and Magic, Heroes of Might and Magic. So it's that's an exciting prospect.
Yeah.
It is also, unfortunately, Ubisoft does own the franchise.
Right.
So
Do you think they'll make
Ubisoft money?
Do you think they'll make this a quadruple A game?
God, I hope not. I hope they never do another quadruple A game. And fuck them. That's all I have to say. Former romhacking.net staff have launched romhack.ing. That's romhack.ing to try to continue the legacy of romhacking.net, which we talked about in our recent romhacking episode. It was very up in the air. RHDI, which is what they are calling this, the shortened version of this, is hoping to bring over the database from romhacking.net. It is still like super duper in alpha phases, but the hope is that they'll be able to just kind of move over the information at romhacking.net and just let that kind of keep on trucking. So that is very good news. Kudos to the people working on that product and preserving that 20 years of information so that we don't have to worry about it for at least a little bit, maybe a couple months. It'd be nice.
Like a month or two.
The Spectrum Mini has been leaked, reportedly launching in November with 48 games at $100. I don't want one.
No.
I don't have, I'm an American, so I've never even seen a ZX Spectrum.
Yeah.
I have no nostalgia for it. It's just one of those weird UK microcomputers to me.
I've never even heard of it. Is it like a spaceship?
It is a spaceship. Yeah, it takes you straight to space.
Oh, they made a mini one?
I know. You got to really cram in there, so get ready. But, you don't need legs in space anyway, so you can float. So you just chop them off.
Right.
You can fit into the mini Spectrum.
That's why it's made for Lieutenant Dan.
Spectrum Mini, it looks cool. I like that they're releasing these mini microcomputers. That said, like what I like about these mini consoles is they come with a little official controllers, and that's a big part of it for me, kind of the look and feel.
I mean, it's a big nostalgia, and you don't have any nostalgia for the Spectrum.
But like my computer already has a keyboard on it, and they have those weird like separated rubber membrane keyboards on the Spectrum, which they've kept for the remaster. It's just, for people that loved it growing up, I know that the Spectrum was a very beloved microcomputer. I'm sure they're excited, but I don't know how many Americans are going to hop on board this particular train.
And now they've made a mini microcomputer?
Yeah, it's a extra small. It's just super duper extra small. Crash Bandicoot 5 has reportedly been scrapped in favor of more live service games. Yay! Thanks, you guys. That's cool that they did that.
Asked for.
Do what?
Said it's what we all asked for.
So yeah, that's a thing. This was originally reported by some historian. I forget who it was, but they also said that the cited reason was poor sales of Crash Bandicoot 4. It's unfortunate to see this kind of thing going on.
There was a 4.
Yeah, it's Crash 4. You didn't know that?
When was that?
Maybe it did sell pretty bad, I guess. I don't know.
When did that come out?
A couple years ago now. It's been a while. Yeah, they made Crash 4. You don't remember that?
No, I bought the remaster of the first 3, and then I played it.
It was around that time.
I played it, and then I realized that they changed, like, basically the hitboxes for where you're jumping to make it harder.
Oh, so you were bad at it now?
And I was like, fuck this. Just stopped.
So I guess instead of more Crash, we're going to get more live service games. Woo woo! Yay! Andrew, what's your favorite live service game?
My favorite live service game is give me an example. Give me an example.
Like a Tom Clancy's. I'm trying to think of any Tom Clancy game. I bet you I could make one up. Okay. Tom Clancy's Inner Warzone.
Oh,
I bet. There you go.
When does that
sounds
come out?
real, right?
Yeah.
When's it come out? It comes out in a month. It's a quintuple A game.
I think I know. Wait, can I explain what this game is?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So it's a bunch of like Navy SEAL type soldiers, right? And they're being interspace shrunk. Because terrorists have also been interspace shrunk, and they've gone in the president's body,
and they gotta all go fight it out in the president.
Yeah, you gotta go into the president's body and fight him inside of his body, and all the levels are like different areas inside the body, like the brain.
I don't know how realistic this is because I would totally play this. This sounds like a fantastically stupid idea. I can't wait for this. Tom Clancy's Inner Warzone coming out tomorrow. Yakuza Kiwami is coming to Switch in October, which is exciting. Kiwami is very good, and hopefully it runs well on the Switch, and I'm sure Switch people are excited for that. Also, Dragon Quest Monsters The Dark Prince is coming to PC on September 11th. I picked this one up on the old Switch and have not put much time into it, but, cool to see it coming out more places. And then finally, the Castlevania Dominus Collection was surprise announced and dropped all on the same day. It featured all 3 DS Castlevania games and a remake of Haunted Castle, which I believe was the arcade version of Castlevania that was kind of shitty, and they made it less shitty. They gave it some upgrades. Launch price is at $25, which is very affordable for 3 DS games. And there's a physical version confirmed coming from, unfortunately, limited run games.
Why?
At a later date. Andrew, bonus points if you can name all 3 Castlevania DS games.
Okay. Castlevania. Is that Dracula? That's the first one.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's one where you got to find Dracula in a Where's Waldo style puzzle. Right. Yeah.
Castlevania DS2.
Right. There he is, there he is, because you found him.
Dracula shit his pants. That's the second one. And Castlevania DS3, My Dinner with Andre.
Right. I think it's Dawn of Sorrow, Order of Ecclesia, and then I forget the other one. I forget the middle one. I think Ecclesia was the last one.
That was close.
Middle one is forgotten, yeah. Which brings us to our topic at hand, which is Stardew Valley.
We did it.
You know, when
we
you
finally
want to play
snuck it in.
But you also want to be a farmer.
Take that, Saturn.
That's right. We're doing lifestyle games, ass. What do you call this genre? I always called it like a farming lifestyle.
Yeah, when I describe it, I've had to describe it to several people recently.
Yes.
And I've described it as...
You talk to a lot of olds?
No, it's a lot of like people on dating apps that are like, what's that? And I'm like, it's a farming dating sim is usually what I refer to it as.
Well, okay. I mean, there's definitely dating sim in it.
Yeah.
I've never done any of it.
Right, because you're married and that would be cheating.
Right, I don't... Justin, did you get married in Stardew Valley? Yeah, you can't get double married.
I did a right thing.
I've always said farming lifestyle.
Yeah.
But farming dating sim is not far off.
Yeah.
I don't think. I don't know. In Wikipedia, the Wikipedia calls it a farm life simulation role playing game.
Oh.
Which doesn't really touch on the dating aspect at all.
I guess I'd never really thought about it as a role-playing game because you do technically have skills that level up, but you don't have any control over like how they level. So besides just not doing a certain thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, it's just one of those things, right? I was thinking about it when we were working on these notes. I was like, what genre is this?
Yeah.
Because I feel like the farming, simulation, role-playing, lifestyle, dating sim genre, like Harvest Moon, Stories, Seasons, Stardew Valley. And then there's the question of, do you lump in things like Animal Crossing, which are very much the same in like the lifestyle sims sort of thing, but then less on the farming, but you can farm in the newest Animal Crossing. So I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
The line she's blurred.
Well, I mean, I've modded my Stardew Valley so it's a first-person shooter.
Oh, right. So. Obviously. So you just murder everyone in town? Who would you shoot? Oh, God. You shoot all the rocks off of your farm so you can plant your crops.
With your machine gun.
Release info. This released February 26, 2016 by Concerned Ape, which is basically Eric Barone on PC. It has been ported to basically everything, including mobile. I just got it running on my weird emulation handheld I ordered, my RG35XX. Late in development, Chucklefish stepped in to assist with the various ports of the game so that Eric could focus on developing content. And in late 2018, publishing rights reverted back to him from Chucklefish, which does predate, for people that remember, Chucklefish had some pretty bad accusations levied against them vis-a-vis not paying people for their work on Starbound. And the rights reverting. In my head, I just assumed the rights went back to Concerned Ape after that all came out.
Yeah.
But no, it was actually before that because those accusations were made against the company in 2019. So it was either unrelated or, maybe just a contract expiring type thing. First encounters. I've kind of gone in and out of Stardew. I first picked it up on PC maybe 2019-ish, somewhere around there, maybe. I really like the farming parts of the game. It's got very, very strong farming in it.
Yeah.
Which I really like, and you can really get real deep into automating a lot of your farm, which I really enjoy. I spent a lot of hours just automating the farm part and making the farm really good and functional. But I have, and I've talked about it before, I have a weird distaste for the art style of this game.
Yeah.
I do not like how it looks. I think it looks actively bad. And I understand, like, I get that I'm in the minority on this, but I just don't like the art style. I don't know what it is. it's just not my thing. Like I don't I don't know. I said it was actively bad. I think what I meant was I actively dislike it, and I understand that. Like I don't think it's badly done art, right?
I mean, I'm a little bit like shocked.
Okay,
just in the fact that you haven't like modded it, because there are a lot of like visual mods.
Graphics mods.
There are a lot of graphics mods
I'm
that
Googling
like
this.
Change the way your buildings look, change the trees, change the flowers. So it's still kind of like that, the pixely graphics, but they like change. There's stuff that changes people's portraits.
Oh,
so that were their different portraits. Yeah, there's a lot of different.
Well, I'll look into that. Yeah, I've just got some kind of weird. I just don't love it. Like I just don't super love the way it looks.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll look into that.
Like, cause I'm on
I did not know.
I scroll the Stardew subreddit every once in a while.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people post pictures and they're like, hey, what do you think of like this? And they're not talking about the mod they're using, but they just obviously have like a shit ton of mods as far as visual mods are concerned.
Right.
And yeah, like I saw one the other day that was like their kitchen just looks like a standard, like updated current kitchen with like a nice fridge and everything like that. Yeah.
I was just scrolling visual mods and I landed on the custom kissing mod, Andrew.
No.
This will let you kiss anybody you want.
Ooh.
Go and kiss crazy over here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go kiss some fish.
I don't think you can kiss fish.
Oh. Well,
but I love the farming bits. As far as like farming, this is like the like in-game farming simulator game. It's really great farming aspects. So I've come back to it many times. I got my wife into it. I owned it. I bought it on PC and then eventually played it on Switch. I've got the hardcover guide. It's just a very cute, fun game that's well supported and it's on fucking everything. So it's easy to have a farm going at all times. What about you, First Encounters?
I'm trying to remember the actual year that I think it was probably around like 2016, 2017. I think the game was still pretty
close
new.
to launch. Yeah.
And well, I guess I played it on PS4, so I don't know when it was released on console because I know it wasn't immediately released on console. So it might have not been 2016, but
yeah.
Yeah, I was working at Apple at the time. I had a coworker that was one of my friends that, him and I would talk about Harvest Moon. And he just would constantly bring up like, oh man, you got to play Stardew Valley. It's so good. And I probably for months, like several months, I was like, I hate the graphics. I was like,
oh really?
I do not want to. I was like, the graphics like are turning me off from it. And he just would constantly just be like, but the gameplay is really good and they've improved so many things over Harvest Moon. And finally I was like, whatever, it's $15 or whatever, however much it was when it came out.
Yeah.
So I bought it on PS4 and played it a lot. And the graphics have really grown on me over time. Like I like the graphics now. Like I think they're charming and
they don't bother me as much as they did before, but it's still kind of like the one few pain points I have left with it.
Yeah, I would say that if I had any issues with the game, that would be the only one that I have.
Yeah. Let's talk development. After college, Eric Barone was struggling to find a job with his computer science degree. I believe he was living somewhere in Washington. I think. I might be thinking of notes from a different episode I did.
That's okay. We don't need to know exactly where he lived.
No, I need to know.
Oh.
I need to know where he lives. I think it was the Seattle area.
Okay.
Anyway, he started working on what would become Stardew Valley because he was struggling to find a job with his computer science degree. So he was allegedly going to improve his skills and then use those to, leverage a job somewhere.
Right.
He did an interview with the Cornell Daily Sun, which sounds like a fake name for a newspaper. And he stated that he felt the Harvest Moon series had gotten progressively worse after Back to Nature. So this was his delineating,
he's
line
not
here.
Wrong.
And when he said it, I was like, yeah, I felt that. I remember because Back to Nature was my first introduction to farming lifestyle RPG dating sims.
Back to Nature was mine as well. I remember, and I'm sure we did a Harvest Moon episode, and I know I've told the story, but that was a friend in middle school brought it over to my house for a sleepover, and then I proceeded to ignore him for like 6 hours and just play Harvest Moon while he ate peanut butter and maple syrup in a bowl.
Excuse me?
He would mix peanut butter and maple syrup in a bowl, and he would just eat it with a spoon.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm 10 weeks into my diet, and that sounds fucking delicious.
It was really good. I didn't have a whole bowl of it, but I had some of it. And it was just him falling asleep and me waking him up every 5 seconds to be like, what do I do with this?
me and my friend used to play a bunch of Back to Nature. I remember Harvest Moon was the game that when my brother got real mad at me one time and he wanted to piss me off, Harvest Moon was the game of mine he destroyed.
Oh.
He took a steak knife and scratched up the back of the disc real bad.
It sucks.
And so when I put it in my PlayStation, it didn't work.
Yeah.
So that was his delineating, area. There was Back to Nature, and I kind of feel that. I think there was a little bit of a renaissance on the GBA, and I know some people do really like some of the later Harvest Moon games.
I would argue,
and I know some of the
Magical Melody is a really good game. The one on the GameCube.
That was PS2, right? Or was that GameCube? Or was that multiplat? Okay, yeah. But yeah, I feel like it's not an uncommon thing for people to be like, yeah, Back to Nature was really good. The other ones, kind of take them or leave them.
Yeah.
He stated dissatisfaction with being unable to find a fan-made alternative that was satisfying, which is a problem I had for many years as well. I think we all kind of struggled in the later Harvest Moon years.
Yep.
I remember playing many hours of Harvest Moon DS when it came out just because I wanted Harvest Moon that bad. And I was like, this game sucks, and I kept playing it.
Well, because that was after Natsume took over everything, right?
I'm not sure when that split occurred. But if not then, it wasn't long after. I played a bunch of, what was the PSP sci-fi Harvest Moon?
Oh my God, that one was terrible.
Was it Innocent Life?
I think so.
Was that it? I'm Googling this. Innocent Life PSP. I'm pretty sure that was, Innocent Life. And it was called Innocent Life, a futuristic Harvest Moon.
Yeah, I heard that was terrible.
And it was a piece of shit. Like, just not fun or good.
Yeah.
And didn't feel enough like Harvest Moon. Stardew would end up being Eric's largest project to date. He credits the game with developing a lot of his game-making skills, which is no surprise. He was kind of fresh out of college when he started working on it. It was programmed in C#, drawn in Paint.net, and composed in software called Reason in the span of 4 years. And he infused what he calls real-world messages into the game and wanted to keep the design open-ended, which was kind of a departure from the sort of 2-year cycle that many of these Story of Seasons and Harvest Moon games use, where like you play through a set period of time and it's like, all right, this is the, in air quotes, main story.
Yeah.
You are now done with the game. You may continue farming, but you have finished it. It is over.
The 2-year cycle is still there.
Do what?
The 2-year cycle is still there.
Oh, so it just keeps repeating, basically?
Well, the game continues after the 2-year cycle, but it still has the traditional, like, on the 3rd year, your grandpa's like, how'd the farm
you mean
do?
in Stardew. Okay, yeah. What was it? I had a friend that played, maybe it was you. I can't remember if it was you or my friend I grew up with that I used to play a lot of Harvest Moon with, but he was like, yeah, if you play to year 10, the bridge breaks.
Yeah, that was me.
And was it you? And like that was the big. You played 8 additional years of Back to Nature, and you're like, in year 10, the bridge breaks.
It wasn't year 10 either. It was year 90.
Oh my God!
Because I was on a forum when I was like in middle school, high school. Like I was on like a Harvest Moon forum, and there was somebody asked, they're like, "Hey, does anything happen after this?" And then
after the 2 years, yeah.
And then some person responded, and they're like, "At year 10, something happens that you have to give like 200 wood to fix or whatever." And then they're like, at year 90, the bridge breaks by your farm. And it's like, oh, okay, so I can just stop playing now, I guess.
Yeah. He did also express some concerns about players kind of mathing the fun out of the game He really wanted people to explore the game rather than, look up all of the optimal strategies and things.
Yeah.
Allegedly, that's why he made cooking kind of shitty and you can't really make money at it.
Yeah.
He also allegedly did not include the butchering of animals for meat to make you want to name the animals and make friends with the animals and form bonds with them, which I thought was an interesting touch.
Yeah, I mean,
and I do
butchering animals has never been a part of the farm sim genre.
No.
So
I do think the real world messages are a little heavy-handed in the game. Like it's very much like there's this sort of undertone of like JoJo Mart slowly infringing on your well, I'm sure we'll talk more about it in a bit. Infringing on your rural lifestyle.
Yeah,
right.
There's also Shane's suicide attempt.
Oh yeah, I forgot that shit gets fucking dark.
Yeah.
That gets real fucking
when
dark.
When you put real world messages in there, I don't know why I wanted them to be like all conspiracy theories, like birds aren't real. Like the mayor comes up to you.
Control the government.
The mayor comes up to you and goes, "How you doing on our nice flat Earth day that we're on?" Do you know we've never actually been to the moon?
If the Earth was a sphere that was spinning, we'd be flung off of it. Anyway, see you later. Put your produce in the bin to sell it.
Yeah, first day.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's development. I'll let you take us into presentation and gameplay here.
Yeah. So presentation. I mean, it's a very like pixelated. Game. For the time that it came out, I was like, "Oh, why isn't this done better?" And then I realized that it was made by one person, basically.
Right, it's a dude.
Oh, okay, well that makes sense. And I don't like. I think the only thing that I still kind of hate about the graphics
is the whole game.
No, is just the character models, not the portraits. But
I also hate the character models. You know what it is? Here's what I think it is.
Nobody has a chin.
All right, I'm going to speculate. I think the character models aren't cute enough. I just want them to be a little more like chibi or something,
Yeah, I guess they're kind of trying to be semi-realistic.
Yeah, totally. That's totally what he's going for. But it's just like I wish they were like a little. Maybe I don't know if it's a Harvest Moon effect or not. Because in Harvest Moon, everything's just cute as fuck all the time. It's just sort of a staple. I think I just wish it was cuter. Just wish there was more cute shit.
I don't think I think it's just I literally know that it's for me. It's just that you don't have a chin. Like in character creation, you have like if you go to a side view. You have your nose, and then the rest of your face under your nose just goes into your neck. And I'm like, what is happening here? And everybody else, if you have a side view of them, the same. It's all just a bunch of no-chinned neck
he didn't know
people.
How to do chins, man. He was learning, Andrew. Give him a
He can do feet and hands, but he can't do necks.
We call it the reverse Jeff Loeb.
Yeah,
he can do feet and hands, but not the rest.
Otherwise, like the rest of it, like I like the text in it, the way that the text looks. I like on signs, like not in text boxes, but like I saw a post the other day that was just somebody had put all of the fruits and vegetables from the game.
Mm-hmm.
A picture of the fruits and vegetables from the game next to the actual fruit and vegetable that they're mimicking.
Based on, yeah.
And they're mostly accurate. There's a couple ones that are weird, but...
Is that a concern? Are we worried about the visual accuracy of fruits and vegetables in our farming sim lifestyle dating sim RPG?
Well, what if you're out in the wild, Justin, you see a rhubarb and it doesn't look anything like the rhubarb from the game? How are you gonna
rhubarb just looks like red celery. I know what rhubarb looks like.
Well, it doesn't look like red celery in the game.
It doesn't? What does it look like?
It looks like a stick.
Oh.
Like a red stick.
Oh. See, I could have eaten the wrong rhubarb.
Exactly,
in the wild
right?
When I'm out foraging for my daily rhubarb.
When you're looking for your pixelated rhubarb out in the wild?
Yeah. Does it look like Stardew?
I don't know. I really like the trees in it. I'm trying to think of other visual aspects. I like the monsters are really cool, I think.
Yeah, I do like the whole monster and dungeon design area is pretty cool looking. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that he basically did, what is the fantasy Harvest Moon that I'm blanking on the name of right now?
Rune Factory?
Yeah, Rune Factory. Like, he did a better Rune Factory. I think Rune Factory is fun.
Feels like Rune Factory is definitely a little more involved of an RPG, but I think this is just enough of a little dungeon crawly segment to be fun, because there is mining in this, much like Back to Nature, but there are like monsters and different levels and secrets and stuff to uncover.
Yeah.
So it does feel like a little like mini RPG kind of baked into the game, which I think is a lot of fun. I did make it on my playthrough all the way to the bottom. So like level, I don't know, 100. I don't remember something
on
like
the
that.
main mine. Yeah,
the main mine. Yeah, and I needed something to get to the next mine, and I didn't have that yet. So
you got to get the bus up and running.
Yeah, something like that.
In order to get the bus, you got to finish one of the community center things.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so I will say I like the soundtrack a lot.
Yeah, I was about to mention that.
Enjoy that.
I'm a huge fan of the soundtrack. I have the short form vinyl of it, and then I also have the 4 vinyl box set of the soundtrack.
Yeah. Did you get the? I think Fangamer sells
me one of them.
I did. Yeah. I think Fangamer sells a Stardew Valley slip mat.
Oh, I don't have that. No.
I'm pretty sure they do.
I got Spider-Man slip mats.
Step us through structurally kind of the gameplay loop of Stardew Valley, just for people that have never played the game.
So for anyone that's never played Stardew Valley or any of the Harvest Moon or Story of Seasons games, basically you're just a regular Joe working your office job, and you get a letter that your grandpa has died, and you're able to go and take over his farm. So you get to the farm, and the mayor's there, and then one of the other villagers is also there, and they just tell you about the farm, and go ahead and do what you want to do with it. One thing that you can do in Stardew Valley that you can't do in any of the other Harvest Moon or Story of Seasons games is you can actually choose what type of farm you want. Mm-hmm. So they have the standard farm that's just your farmhouse, and then it's just a huge lot of all farmable spaces.
Yeah.
And then you can choose, there's a forest one where there's a lot more trees that grow there. There's a mountain one where a lot more ore and rocks grow.
There's a spooky haunted monster one.
The spooky haunted monster one is just at night monsters come out.
Oh. I see.
And then there's an ocean one, a river one, and then now because you have a multiplayer, there's what they call, I think, the 4 corners, which it just gives 4 plots of land for like you and 3 other friends.
Right. I feel like kind of the early gameplay loop of kind of all these games are the same, and it's kind of like a sort of a management sim early on. Like the first few hours are very much you managing, like, because you can only do so much work in a day, and the farm is in disrepair, so a lot of it's just managing your fatigue levels and getting as much work done as you can to kind of grind out some money.
Yeah. I mean,
to start expanding.
You start out and they give you some like low level seeds that you can plant.
Like
and
parsnips or something.
Parsnips, is it? And then your farm is just covered in rocks, wood, and weeds. So you want to try to clear it out. And then you also have different levels of like you have a tree stump where you need an upgraded axe to break it. So you'll never be able to break it in the beginning. And then you also have a log, which you need an even more upgraded axe to break.
Right. So it pretty quickly gives you these upgrade paths.
And then you have boulders that you need to break for your pickaxe.
How many hours in? Because eventually, like, I think what Stardew Valley does successfully is, you start off in your first few hours are just you kind of systematically farming. And then what these games always do is they reveal kind of other things you can do, other plot threads that you can engage in as you're going through this farming monotony. And eventually, I feel like, you don't have to.
Yeah.
I usually don't because I like the farming. But I feel like eventually what you can do is kind of break out of this cycle of mostly farming and fatigue management into kind of some other gameplay styles.
Right. I mean, and this game does a good job because like in the Harvest Moon games, you make a lot of money off of ore. in gems in the games that have the gems.
Oh yeah.
And so in Harvest Moon, I would like maybe farm like a plot, just like a 9x9 plot.
Right, and then just go
and then I
on
just
the mine.
go to the mines. And in this game, they do a good job of, or I guess he does a good job of blocking the mines off for I think the first half of the first month. So you basically are forced to forage, and which foraging is another big aspect of the game in the beginning. But foraging and farming is basically forced upon you at the beginning.
Yeah.
And also like ore and gems by themselves don't necessarily net you a lot of money unless you have diamonds. But basically the game opens up over time, which is why like, you know, I played the game before this period that I'm playing it now. And so I just made a bunch of chests and I hoarded everything. And didn't like sell everything that I had. Like I just hoarded as much as I could because I knew I would need it all for crafting later. Because there's a large crafting mechanic in this game that allows you to craft I can't think of words.
Stuff.
There's something that makes wine and beer. What is it called? A cask or a...
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a mayonnaise machine.
There's a mayonnaise machine. There's a cheese machine for milk.
I also, a lot of my farm, and I like this a lot because, you know, like there's a lot of automation options available. Like you can build like automated sprinklers and things that take care of your crops and stuff.
There's now an automated grabber for your animals products.
Oh man, that's nice. That was kind of one of the last bits of like real tedium that the game had in there, is like picking up all the chicken eggs and stuff.
So you still got to go touch them to give them love or whatever, but you can or whatever.
I like going and giving them love because the little heart pops over their head.
But now you don't have to pick up all their crap off the ground.
A lot of my farms are consumed with maple syrup and honey production. Because those are pretty hands-off. You just kind of set them up and they just kind of produce for you. And there's not a lot of like that cycle of planting, watering, waiting for it to grow, harvesting, planting again.
Yeah.
You kind of get to get out of that a little bit.
I mean, that's a lot of what I do. A lot of what I'm doing now, which I'm like I'm in fall of year 3 right now in the game that I'm currently playing. And it's a lot of planting ancient seeds, because ancient fruit sells for like 15,000 gold a piece or something like that.
Yeah.
And then also I can't remember the blue one off the top of my head, but basically making that into wine, because those wine sell for like 10K each or something ridiculous. So, but you can also put wine into other barrels that age them and make them into, copper, silver, gold, or iridium level. Yeah. Trying to think of really like the game just kind of branches out and also has a desert area you can go to a different mine where you can get different material and fight harder monsters. There's a casino you can go to in the desert eventually.
Just the variety of gameplay, because like the story season games, Harvest Moon games, like they've had a little like other stuff you can do, but it was never this thing where it was like you can just kind of do that instead of this main stuff. You don't have to worry about having a gigantic farm at some point if you find other avenues that you can explore. And just the breadth of gameplay here, I think, is what makes it so much more compelling, I think, than a lot of those games.
I would also say that Harvest Moon and Story of Seasons, like after the second year, you kind of don't feel compelled to play the game anymore.
Yeah.
And I feel like Story of Seasons unfortunately does a good job of like tricking your brain into being like, well, I have to go back because I've been working on, this thing, and I'm waiting for this building to be built so that way I can shove a bunch of barrels into it. And like,
yeah.
So there's just a lot more to it. And with the newest patch, there was a bunch of stuff added to it as well.
Oh yeah, the 1.6 patch was in like March, and they added a bunch of stuff. Yeah, like the patch notes are gigantic.
Yeah, they added a whole lot. And in fact, he actually, Concerned Ape, had a tweet or an X post, whatever they're called now. Where
X, the everything app.
Yeah. Where he's basically just saying, hey, thanks for everybody being patient about the 1.6 app on console. It's taking a lot longer than expected. And then he mentioned that I think the new game he's been working on for a while is like the chocolate confectionery or something.
I have no idea.
And he mentioned that he has not even touched that game in a long time because of this patch. So that's a little bit sad.
He seems to be struggling to have other projects.
Yeah.
I get it because this is so much of a labor of love, and even the bits that he did hand off to Chucklefish, it seemed it was like so that he could focus on the important parts of the game.
Yeah.
Rather than him, handing things off or anything like that. So,
but I would say,
I suspect this is going to be one of those projects that like 10 years from now he's going to be like, I gotta hand it off because he's going to still be doing stuff for it.
I'm kind of hoping, just for his sake, that after he finishes the 1.6 patch for console, that'll be like, I'm done. Like, that's besides bug fixes.
Yeah, Haunted Chocolatier was the other game.
Because I saw some stuff about that whenever it was announced or leaked or whatever, and it looked interesting. But
yeah, have you done anything, or do you in these games do anything as far as the kind of like dating sim and marriage aspect? Is that a thing that you do in these or no? Because I know a lot of I don't. But then I always had friends that would play Harvest Moon. They're like, oh, the first thing I do is start giving gifts to the person I want to marry.
Yeah. I mean, I did.
I will sometimes give people random gifts of stupid shit like garbage and stuff, just because I think it's funny because they get real grossed out and they're like, ew, disgusting.
I did. So in this game, in the town, there are several garbage cans everywhere. And you can go touch the garbage cans and something may pop out of them. It could be trash. It could be food. And then I found out because that was like a daily ritual when I started this time around. As I went and I
got caught doing it one time.
Oh, you get caught all the time, and people are like, "What are you doing? Gross." But eventually, you'll get a trash can hat.
Oh,
and it's just the top of a trash can, but it's a hat. And then eventually, you'll get the trash catalog, which is just a bunch of old tires, a broken TV. It's just a catalog of furniture you can put around your house that's just trash. So I did get that because I'd touch the trash every day. But
yeah, I
mainly did it at the beginning because you can get like bread and other things that you can't make yet, and it allows you to eat it in the mines, so you can have that. Back to your question.
Yeah.
Yes, I do the I guess the dating sim portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
This playthrough, I was going to marry Penny. She is the redheaded school teacher.
Yes,
that lives in the trailer with her mom. And then I
think I accidentally gave her 10 fish in a row, and she
hated you.
She didn't like that.
Yeah,
she was mad about that.
I was I guess courting her, and then I realized that because I try to figure stuff out on my own for the most part, but I do use the wiki a lot. Like if I'm just I don't want to figure it out. I just want to know what I need to do. And all of the things that she loves are all all the expensive stuff.
Yeah.
It's all, which I guess I understand, but I was courting her, and I got her hearts up to the area which is 8. 8 is where you can start dating them, and then 10 is where you can marry them.
Yeah.
And then I got her to 8 and then started talking to Abigail, which is the purple-haired gothy girl.
Yes.
And I guess I enjoyed her character more.
Uh-huh.
And so I ended up just pivoting and dating her instead and marrying her.
I just thought of something that I fucking hate in this game.
Oh.
And it is the fishing.
Oh, yeah.
The fishing minigame, is it supposed to be not insanely hard?
I think it's supposed to be insanely hard at the beginning. It is not hard for me at all now.
It is ridiculously hard to figure out.
But I'm also highest level in fishing, so it's easier. Your bar is bigger. I also have the highest level fishing pole, which allows you to put bait in it, and it also allows you to put 2 different lures in it. And so I stock up on I do the cork bobber, because what the cork bobber does is it increases your fish, the bar. So I get 2 of those in there. So my bar is huge. The chances of me not.
You got a huge bar.
I got a huge bar.
Massive.
So it's easy now.
Yeah.
But it is definitely very difficult in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I've got Courtney, because I had gotten Courtney playing it, and she was like, I don't like how it looks, but I like how it plays.
Yeah.
And she hit the fishing, and she was like, this is so hard that, like, is my game broken? And I was like, can't be that hard. And finally, she quit playing because of it. She was like, I can't fucking fish.
Yeah.
This is bullshit. Like, it made her so mad that she was like, this is bullshit. I'm done.
Yeah.
It was a struggle.
Yeah, fishing's definitely hard. I mean, I'm at a point in my game right now where I've got my farm.
Nothing's hard.
My farm is like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
So it usually takes me like 2 in-game hours to like do all the maintenance I need to do in the morning. Mm-hmm. And then the rest of the day is me spending literally the entire day, 2 days a week, because you can only give 2 gifts a week to each person.
Yeah.
Is just going to all of my chests that have all of my stuff in it, loading up my inventory of all the things that people love in town, and then spending the entire day running around town giving out gifts and talking to people because I'm trying to get everyone to 10 hearts.
Right. You want to marry everyone?
I want to marry everyone. Can't get how many people married do we?
Yeah.
No, because when you increase, because I'm trying to get all the recipes.
Right.
So in order to get all the recipes, you have to 10 hard everyone because they all have recipes that they give you. And that's what I'm doing right now. I guess I figured out, because in the 1.6 patch, or it may have been an earlier one. So there's an area that eventually opens up in the game that has a sauna that you can go in to recover stamina. Mm-hmm. But it takes forever. I don't know why it's there. You can just eat stuff, and that will recover your stamina a lot faster. Yeah. But to the north of that is another stairwell that's blocked by a huge rock.
Okay.
And that is the 100% area. Like, that is the end game.
Oh. So once you get 100% of everything, you get to go in this secret zone.
So once you...
do you know what's in there, or are you intentionally letting that be a surprise?
I've found it out on accident.
Okay, well, don't say it. I feel like that's like a big... I'll ask you this. Is it worth the effort to get there?
No, I think it's more of just it's
just a congratulatory kind of thing. Yeah. Okay.
I think it's more of just like, you did it. Like, and a lot of the people on the subreddit refer to it as the I have no life achievement. And I think I saw somebody else say the you'll never make it achievement.
Yeah.
Because it's like you have to sell one of literally everything, including all the cooking. And you have to get all your stats up, and you have to complete the monster hunter thing where you kill all the thousands of monsters and everything. So
yeah, maybe
one day I'll get there, but
maybe.
Do
you have anything else on gameplay, or do you want to move into reception legacy?
I think I put in the notes that I just wanted to comment that I think we've already kind of touched on it too, is that it just, I feel like it really improved on everything as far as quality of life is concerned, on anything that Harvest Moon or Story of Seasons did.
Oh, definitely.
And I've to the point to where, even though I love Harvest Moon, and I guess old Harvest Moon, current Story of Seasons,
right,
I probably will not buy anymore, just because this has fixed every issue. So
you picked up the Friends of Mineral Town remake, and you were like, yeah, it's okay. Like, it seemed almost disappointing after so many years of Stardew Valley.
I did pick up the Story of Seasons Friends of Mineral Town. And it was nostalgic, and they fixed a lot of the quality of life issues that Back to Nature had, because Friends of Mineral Town is basically a remake of DS Mineral Town game that was
the GBA. Yeah,
the GBA.
There's Friends of Mineral Town, and then like even more Friends of Mineral Town where you could play as a female character.
Yeah, and then which those were basically a remake of Back to Nature.
Yeah.
So it was like nostalgic, and I enjoyed playing it for the time that I did, but I don't think I got past like a year in that game.
Yeah.
And like, I guess as a backstory, like I've played every Harvest Moon up to the Wii. I think the Wii is when what is the what's the studio that was doing it? Because Natsume
previously
published it. Yeah. And then as an Xseed? broke off from Natsume and started doing.
It was Marvelous, Marvelous Exceed, Exceed Marvelous.
Yeah.
I think Marvelous owns. God, this is I miss Saturn right now. He'd be like, oh well, actually, in 2003, it was. I think Exceed and Marvelous were like the same.
Yeah. So I mean, basically. Natsume owns the Harvest Moon name. So for anyone out there,
no, Marvelous owns Exceed. I don't know, something like that. I think Marvelous owns them.
Natsume owns the Harvest Moon trademark name, whatever. So for anyone out there that's interested in Harvest Moon, please do not buy a Harvest Moon game that's coming out.
Yeah, they're bad. They're
bad. Natsume is terrible at making them for some reason, even though another company made it for them for years, and they could look back at those. Story of Seasons is now what Harvest Moon has become, and they are still pretty good. But again, Stardew Valley has fixed all previous issues.
Yeah.
But you know, I played the N64 one. I played the NES one. I went back and played that. And then played the PS2 terrible one and the GameCube ones and the Wii ones. So,
and I mean, Back to Nature was Victor Interactive Software,
wasn't?
Yep. Previously, originally known as Pack-In Video.
Huh?
They did a whole bunch of shit, a whole bunch of MSX and Super Famicom and stuff like that. So yeah, the Natsume, you know, Back to Nature is kind of hailed as like the
classic.
The classic. I was going to say best, but I think other games do a lot of things better, but definitely very much the classic Harvest Moon experience. And it was not made by them. And actually, even in Japan, Victor Interactive published it. It was North America and European territories that Natsume published Back to Nature. So
I remember when I don't know, like 15, 20 years at this point, maybe 15 years at this point. I was looking online, and Back to Nature, like an opened copy of Back to Nature was like $500, like in
that's insane,
in decent quality. And I also own the physical like N64 one. I got it in Hawaii of all places, brand new, and that was crazy expensive for a while. I don't know if it still is.
I don't think Back to Nature on PS1 is. I think the N64 one's still high, but it's always been high.
Yeah.
So I think it's just was kind of the rarer of the two.
You know, I wanted money at the time, and I was like, oh, I could sell mine. But then I realized that I, was a kid, and inside the manual for Back to Nature is a calendar. And I wrote like my wife's birthday in it, and like,
oh yeah, you can't get rid of that.
Other people's birthday.
You gotta keep that. As far as reception, the game sold over 2 million copies within the first 2 months, reaching 3.5 million across all platforms by the end of 2017. It has currently sold more than 30 million copies as of February of this year, making it one of the best-selling games of all time, which is quite a claim for a farming game that one dude made because he couldn't get a job.
It's because it's good.
It was nominated for Indie Game of the Year and PC Game of the Year at the Golden Joysticks. It did win the award for Breakthrough, the Breakthrough Award. I don't know what the fuck that means. It has always had very positive reviews across all platforms.
Yeah.
The Metacritic is in the high 80s. Individual scores are very often, if not perfect, very close to perfect. Lots of 9.5s out of 10 for Stardew Valley. It is an extremely celebrated indie game. And it is also on sale all the fucking time.
Yeah, it's very cheap. And it's on Game Pass.
There is no paid for additional content for the game. You buy the game one time and you get everything that has ever been made for it, ever.
Yep.
It's just one. It's like it's one of those games where it's like Vampires. Well, I guess Vampire Survivors is paid DLC even. Yeah. So even not even that. Just it's one of the best deals in gaming. I think.
You do have to. It's a microtransaction every time you want to use your watering can.
Oh, is that it? They charge you $1 each time? Yeah. They don't do that. No. So if you're just looking for value for game, dollars spent, it is it's kind of insane that they've never charged more for anything else. I mean, at this point, they could just call them expansion packs and release them. And I don't even know that people would be upset because so much stuff has been released. I mean, people that bought the game in 2016 are still getting huge content updates.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised like Microsoft hasn't bought it yet.
Yeah, God, I hope they don't. I hope please let this stay indie forever. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. Anyway, as far as final thoughts, it is the farming game that has made every other farming game irrelevant.
Yeah. To be fair, Harvest Moon made itself irrelevant by being terrible. So.
Yeah, it didn't help with things. But as far as like, I might go play a Harvest Moon game for a lark, for fun.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to sit down and do a farm and do the farming lifestyle sim thing, it's going to be Stardew Valley. Even though I have complaints about it, I don't love how it looks. The fishing fucking sucks. I've got my issues. But if I'm going to sit down and play something, there's no reason it wouldn't be Stardew Valley. It's no question.
Yeah.
Like it is. If you are remotely interested in this genre, this is hands down the game to buy, and very often the cheapest game in this genre.
Yeah.
Because how much is this game? Like full retail, $20?
I don't even think it's. Pretty sure it's like 10, 15. Maybe it's 20 on console. I don't know.
Well,
it's on
like
Game
Story
Pass,
of Seasons are going to cost you more than this and be worse. Harvest Moon are going to be a lot worse.
Yeah. You don't like the Souls-like fishing game that's in this?
No, I don't. I don't like that. So as far as final thoughts, that's mine. I think this is absolutely a game that if you have any passing interest in this genre, you should at least check out, because especially for the small amount of money you can usually get it for, there's literally no reason not to be playing Stardew Valley. It's just that it's that good. It fixes that much. It's that deep. It's that fun.
Yeah, I would say that if you're the type of person where like kind of like monotonous gameplay calms you, because it's definitely one of those things where I come home from work, I put on a movie or a TV show to kind of have on in the background, and then I just like monotonely like just play this game, like and it's just kind of relaxing. There's no point where like my heart's racing or like I'm getting stressed out or anything like that. And it's definitely like a calming experience to have. The music's really good.
Great music.
I don't think I've ever gotten bored of it or like annoyed with it. It's just it's a great experience, and I would say even if if you have like Game Pass and you're just mildly interested, just download it, try it for a little while, see what you like, see if you like it, and even then, it's generally so cheap that if you're even mildly interested, like just pick it up and give it a try.
Yeah, even Yasuhiro Wada, the designer of Harvest Moon, he quit working on it in 2009, but the guy that made all the Harvest Moon games was like, yeah, this is great. Stardew Valley is fantastic. What did he say? He said he was, quote, very happy with the game. So if the guy who made all the games that inspired your game is like, hey, man, your game's fantastic, I think that says something.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the ultimate achievement for you trying to make like a labor of love based on something else is getting the person that inspired you to be like,
yeah,
good job, dude.
Andrew, you know what else says something?
What?
I says that you can go to patreon.com/Retro Warriors and you can get our other show, Talking Wizards, and our other show, Read Along, and for the low price of an amount of money. For money. Any money. We'll sell you Talking Wizards for literally any dollar amount.
Money.com.
All you got to do is don't go there. I don't know what that is. Give us some money, and then you can have the wonderful show that Andrew and I do.
But Justin,
so if you like having Andrew on, then that's the show to listen to.
But Justin, I don't have any money. I'm just a baby.
You're just a baby? Well, go find some. We do want to thank the following patrons for their kind donations, starting with Adam Williams,
Dr. Jason Tharp,
Ross
Conchu,
Adam Klugowitz,
Ice Climber Enthusiast,
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious,
Space Bruce,
Sharp Cheddar,
Burger Champ,
are all the people that we have now thanked for their money, thus fulfilling our contractual obligation to them for this section of the show.
Yay.
Thank you very much for listening. And please stay tuned after the ending theme for the after party with Guy, who's going to be in the Guy Zone, which is where he is at all times because he is Guy.
Uh-huh.
So by default, wherever he is then becomes the guy zone.
Right. The guy zone is just a hurricane tunnel that we put him in, and then we throw things at him, and he has to tell us facts about his life while we do.
That's so much worse. This is terrifying. Anyway, stay tuned after the end theme. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week. And as always, let us cling together. After party with Guy. Hi, Guy.
Hi. Special guest appearance during the show.
It's you. You're here. Guy, would you say that every zone that you inhabit then becomes the Guy zone?
Yeah, it's Guy zone.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Even the dead zone? The dead zone becomes the Guy zone when Guy's in the dead zone?
Yeah,
I don't know, Guy. Have you ever been to the dead zone?
Oh.
Hi, Guy. How's it going?
Good,
Andrew's never been in the Guy zone with you before.
It's
so
my
this is
first
new for
time.
him.
I don't. Let's see. I don't have COVID. My house didn't flood, and I don't suddenly have road rage. So doing better than all y'all.
I have a sore throat right now. Does that count?
Oh no. Well, I think the road rage is he was referring to you.
Yeah,
You've been complaining about traffic.
Yeah, traffic is terrible.
Yeah.
That's where you are in life. You complain about traffic now.
I'm getting better. I'm getting over it.
I think that puts you a few years from being one of those people that just wants to tell you about their medical conditions every time you talk to them.
Right.
Where you're like, hey, how are you doing, great Uncle Rick? And he's like, well, I had some knee surgery.
I blew out my butthole the other day.
Wow.
How does one blow out their butthole?
A lot of pooping.
Oh, I see. Hi, Guy.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah. No, I was gonna be all like somber for a second, but I can't fall out and blow out your butthole.
Follow that guy.
I was gonna say rest in peace, Johnny Goudreau, but that seems highly inappropriate now.
Oh, who's that? Who's Johnny Goudreau?
He is a hockey player. He was 31 years old.
Oh, that's so young. Was it like a horrible accident?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
We were talking about road rage. And it wasn't a road rage thing, but like, it just reminded me. Like, he was. This happened like yesterday. He was in I don't know, New Jersey for his sister's wedding or something, and him and his little brother went out for a bike ride on a 2-lane road.
Okay.
And apparently, what happened was that a drunk driver got impatient behind an SUV. The SUV went into the middle of the road, right, to make room as they were passing the two bikers. And the drunk driver decided to pass the SUV on the right since it, quote unquote, made space, and then plowed through them.
Oh my God. Well, that's fucking sad and dark.
It is. And
welcome to the Guy Zone.
The Guy Zone. Sad and dark. That's what we do.
Jesus Christ.
Ugh.
I'm going to be sad all night now.
Oh,
what
I'm
time
sorry.
did they go driving that there was a drunk driver out on the road like in the middle of the day? The night?
It's New Jersey, so
night bike?
I don't know.
That's true.
Drink to survive.
Oh, man. But yeah, no, that's sad. The hockey world lost a good one.
That's terrible, man.
Yeah, that's
a terrible thing.
Well, what non-depressing thing do you want to talk about?
Yeah, now tell us something that is as happy as that is sad to even us out.
My dog started taking Apoquel today, and now he's not itchy.
Oh my God, my dog takes Apoquel. That's the best.
Right.
It's great. My dog went from being a horrible scab to just being horrible. He's kind of horrible.
He's still a scab because he crosses the picket line, but
he's got to work, guys.
He's got to earn them doggy dollars.
Yeah.
Ralph's like, he's the worst dog, but he's so dumb and loves everyone so much that you kind of can't really even be that mad at him being the worst dog.
Yeah.
You're just like the whole time you're like, God, you're such an annoying idiot, but you just love everyone so fucking much that I can't even be upset.
Yeah. That's my whole philosophy in life.
Oh yeah, just love everyone so much that they can't be upset with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't you notice how he lights up a room when he comes in?
Yeah.
And well, he just turns the lights on.
Right.
Oh,
And
is that what that is?
I carry a flashlight too, just in case.
My kid has some. I know I'm just interrupting with a complete tangent, but for whatever reason, she wants every room to be as cold as possible and totally dark.
Right.
Ah, she takes
So
after me.
I'll be like sitting in the living room. She'll come in there, turn all the fans on, and turn all the lights off. And I'll be like, turn the lights on and turn the fan. I'm freezing and it's cold. Like, we don't live on the moon. Well, like, what are you trying to do?
Justin, this year at school, they had an assembly where a vampire came and
she
bit
wants
all
to
the
live that
kids.
lifestyle.
So they're all
Oh,
vampires.
Yeah,
now.
no, bit all the kids.
Yeah.
All right, children, line up.
Oh man,
Dr. Acula's going to give you your medicine.
this could be real wrong following up that statement, but it reminds me. I was playing Magic a second ago,
Okay.
and one of the card backs that they have that you can buy or whatever is like Asterion biting the wizard guy or whatever, and it's like real sexual.
Oh.
Right.
They're selling sexy Baldur's Gate 3 card backs in Arena?
Oh.
Yeah.
Weird.
It is weird. Oh, hey, that's something we were going to talk about. Game design and subtractive game design or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
You were going to tell me how awful it is or something. I don't know.
I forgot. Well, so the argument goes, I don't know that I invented this term. I think I just stole it from somebody, but I don't remember who it was. So if you invented this term,
Take credit for it anyway. Do it.
Then I made it, and it's mine. So, well, I mean, we were talking in the chat in the modern discussion about the ideas. Basically, you're like, I'm not inherently upset at business models that are buy a full-priced game, and then here's a bunch of microtransactions and cash shops on top of that. That was I think the conceit of your argument was the concept alone of that is not inherently upsetting. You seem to care more about the individual implementation, I think, is the vibe I was getting.
Yeah, I think there's two different implementations of that, but yes, like there's microtransaction with Battle Pass and whatever you want to call it, Season Pass, et cetera,
Yeah.
Which is
Whereas the Season Pass and the Battle Pass there's usually both.
ugh, yeah, gross.
Yeah.
And like selling cosmetics and stuff like that, like true microtransactions. I think that's in a different category than this. Whereas it all spawned from you looking into getting Sins of a
Solar Empire 2, yeah,
and being confused in what you were trying to buy, which is problematic. I agree with that. But what they were selling in their upgrade or deluxe package was, or one of the things was a future like extra race or whatever you call it.
An additional faction. Yeah.
An additional faction. Thank you. And my assertion there was that, in the old days, back before microtransactions and that goddamned armored horse, you would have like, an expansion would come out. They wouldn't tell you about it beforehand, and it would be an extra like, $10 or $15, and you'd get an extra faction and maybe some balance tweaks or whatever. And so my assertion was it's the same model. It's just now you know about it ahead of time, so you're like pre-ordering that content.
But that's the thing. That's the rub, right? So here's the difference. The difference with an expansion is, hey, I made this thing. Would you like to buy it? Sure. Okay. What's in the thing? Well, these are the things that are in that thing. All right. Thank you very much. I will purchase your thing, and I now have the thing, right? Mm-hmm. And then they go, well, now we're making an expansion to thing. And I go, okay, well, what's in that? And they go, these things are in it. And here it is if you want to buy it. And I go, okay, well, I guess I'll buy that too. So I've got my expansion to thing to go with it. This is them saying, hey, the game is out and it's only $40. And you go, oh, okay, well, I'll buy this thing for $40. This seems fair. What's this premium edition? Well, it's twice the price, so it's $80. And it includes a single player campaign, and a fourth faction, and a bunch of other things. So there's, I mean, you know how these things, there's like 50 things in there. I'm sure half of them are fluff.
Right.
And so it basically is like, so previously for like, because this is a Stardew game, for Galactic Civilizations 4, what they did, because Marlo in the chat was telling us about this, he was saying, hey, what they did before was, because there's no other way to buy the faction. Like, I just want the faction. It really annoys me not having all playable factions and races and characters in games, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, well, can I just buy the faction? And you cannot. You can either buy the $40 version of the game and not get the faction, or the $80 version of the game and get the faction. There is no other option. And what they've done on previous games, this publisher, is later on when that faction comes out, they will offer it as separate DLC. But they don't offer it right now. And they have not actually said that they will offer it separately. Surely they will, but they didn't say that. What they want is for me to pay for an expansion, basically paying for an expansion now, that I don't know that I want it, right? I mean, the difference here is that, like, you know, when Lord of Destruction releases for Diablo 2, I know what's in it, and I can decide then if I do or don't want to purchase the thing. But what they want is for me to purchase the thing now on the promise that thing will be good, and I'll definitely want thing when I don't even know if I'll want thing. And I don't even know if I'll have other options to purchase thing. And if I don't, then the introductory price of $80 will go up to the actual MSRP of, I think it's $100 for this version of the game that includes all factions. And it's just that intentional. Like, it's not a lie. It's not technically misleading. It's just them kind of not really showing me what my options are and not really explaining. And maybe if I dug into their release notes, I could find like the roadmap or whatever of how this is going to release, right? But not having that feels disingenuous, right? It feels like what they're trying to do is kind of FOMO me into spending $80 when I don't know that is the best option because I don't know what my options are. So this was a specifically unique case where and in my head I'm like, just if you want to release an $80 game, just make an $80 game. Just be like, here's the game. It's $80. And also, if your game isn't done yet, put it in early access. Like, that's why early access exists. That's the purpose of it. That's what it's for. So that you can finish your game, right? I mean,
yeah, no, I think my contention was that they did finish the game, and the extra bits are extra bits, and what I took away from what you were saying,
that was the subtractive argument, right? So if you like, here's my thing. It's this scenario. Hey, I made a pie. Would you like to buy this pie from me? And then you go, yes, I will buy that pie. And then you buy it, and you've got your pie. That's great, right? And then I make the same pie, and then I take a slice out, and I sell you everything but that slice. And then I sell you that slice, right? That's what's happening. And I mean, this is what's been happening in video games since, I don't know, the Xbox 360 generation, possibly before then. You know, I'm sure there are instances even longer ago than that of subtractive design, of people saying, hey, we're going to plan the expansive multi-year content up front. We already know we're making this. This is going to happen. And we're going to find the best way to cut it up over the longest timeline to sell it to you in pieces. And that's what I refer to as subtractive game design. It's them saying, hey, here's our whole project. We've been working on this stuff since day one. All the DLC and everything. Because, I mean, this is how games launch with battle passes, right? Yeah. They've already made that content. They made it. They originally planned it. Probably one of the first things they planned is these, long content release plans. And then they go, yeah, but you don't get it when you buy the game. This is for extra later stuff, which is inherently different than the cycle of, hey, we made a game. All right, now let's make an expansion for the game. If that makes sense.
It does. I think, I don't know. I think with Sins of a Solar Empire 2 and the way that they did it in particular, I could see my argument, because I made the argument, right? Where it's like they've released what they finished and have put that out there, and they're charging for it, and they say, hey, if you want to buy this future content, you can pre-order it, basically. But I do agree that in a general sense that has been happening a lot, where they'll make the whole game and then be like, but we're not going to sell you the whole game.
Right.
I think it's dumb.
Right.
But I think you made the blanket statement that all AAA and quadruple A games are that way, or the ones that sell themselves that way are all subtractive, and I think I take it more on a game by game basis. Like I would consider, say, the Street Fighter model, right, is awful.
Mm-hmm. I would call that definitely subtractive. You know, here's my thing: if the first day the game comes out, you have additional characters to sell me for the game, that's subtractive.
Yeah,
that was in development alongside the main game by the same team, presumably. I think to clarify my statement, I believe I phrased it this way, but if I did not, to clarify it, I think most AAA and quadruple A games are crafted through subtraction. I do believe I would say the majority of AAA games by the big publishers hitting the market are releasing with multiple versions day one, with cash shops, with microtransactions. I mean, you know, if you go look at the top sales charts for each month, then I would be shocked to not find majority of games doing that.
Yeah, no, I
mean, we do get the one-off Baldur's Gate 3 here and there. You know, they happen, yeah.
The crumbs.
Yeah.
I mean, the really good crumbs. But
oh, it's depressing.
Yeah, no. Yay, gaming in 2024.
Is anyone else like upset about the sales model for Star Wars Outlaws? Is that what it's called, the new one?
What is the sales model?
Yeah, can you explain it? Because I don't know.
So, like, I was very upset by this. So they did the standard edition for $60 or whatever, and then there's like an $80 silver or gold edition, and then the platinum edition for $120 or whatever. Where, as we have been you've been talking about, you know, comes with extra missions and stuff that
which were made during the original development by the same team. Yeah.
And I know we don't own digital content to begin with, but there's still like that illusion of security of owning something when you purchase the digital content. But Star Wars Outlaws has, unless they removed it, which I don't know if they have, I haven't followed up on it, but they were also advertising a subscription-based model to this game. Mm-hmm. So for $15 a month, you can play this game,
and you get all the stuff
as long as you're subscribed. So I feel like it was more like if you can't afford the $120 up front, you can just spend $15 a month forever to play it.
I've seen worse than that.
Upset me.
The strategy game world is inventing new ways to try to release shitty fucking monetization models. I don't remember what game it was, but I saw some strategy game that was like, yeah, you can subscribe for $15 a month. You buy the game and then you subscribe to it, and then you get the content as it releases.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not subscribing to fucking like Tank Commander 7 or whatever. You know, it's like, I don't know. I know we're just going to sound like old men yelling at clouds, but I'm just so sick of everything being a fucking subscription. Just make a product and release it. Stardew Valley is a product that was just made and then released. Balatro was just made and then released. Vampire Survivors, they made the fucking thing, released it, and then they said, hey, we made more stuff. Would you buy that from us? And I said, yes, I would buy that more stuff from you that you made after the game. What a great idea. Like, the model works. Yeah. Baldur's Gate 3 sold insanely well. The model works. Just release a fucking thing.
Well,
quit trying to fuck us for like a minute.
I think the deviation here is you need to release a quality. All the examples you gave were all quality things.
Good things. Yeah. It's almost as if when people know they have a good product, they're not worried about hacking it to pieces and charging you for it 100 different ways. It's almost like that, right?
Almost.
Like when you know you've made a good when you know you've made a good thing, you can just ask a fair asking price for it, and usually people are happy to pay it
and still make money and support it.
Fucking shocking information. We need to end the show, guy. Thanks for being our producer and stuff. What? Okay, what?
Before we get out of here, my first impression of Stardew Valley was, hey, I'm gonna play this game. I think I got it on like PS4 or whatever, and like Paul was like, oh yeah, I was gonna play that game, but then my friend Baker lives on a farm and he said it sucks, so I don't play it.
The farm life in Stardew Valley is so much more idyllic than the farm life I have out here.
This was like late 2016, early 2017. So it's before I met you.
Yeah.
So you were just my brother's friend Baker.
Yeah. Anyway, guy, thanks for doing the Guy Zone.
All right, you're welcome.
Do you want to sing the outro song for the Guy Zone real quick?
This is the Guy Zone. It's Guy Zone, Guy Zone. Yay.
Yay. Okay, bye.
And
Good
let us
night.
guide together.
All right. Okay. Good night.